Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to Stretch the Sketch combined with Baby Got Scraps. So I have a double page layout I am doing, Stretch the Sketch. You can do any size but a 12 by 12. And so I am doing a double pager. The sketch that we are using today is this one from Creative Scrappers. It's number 32. And I thought these circles would be really well represented by my plates out of my kitchen. So I just went and pulled the two sizes of plates that we have in our kitchen for daily use. And I pulled out some Nuvo embellishment mousse. I've got some in Cosmic Brown and Mother of Pearl. And, let's see here. I'm not sure what the other color is. My goodness. I guess I should probably look at that. It is Orange Blush, and actually it may not be Cosmic Brown because the two colors that I have that are very similar, one is Cosmic Brown and the other is, of course I picked up the Cosmic Brown one. Let's see here, is that the one I used? It is Cosmic Brown. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. So Cosmic Brown, Orange Blush, and Mother of Pearl. And all I'm doing is putting a little bit of water in my embellishment mousse because it is kind of getting dry, and you will see the Mother of Pearl one is super dry, but I'm just adding water and it reactivates it and I can paint it on. I might not be able to pick it up like with a spatula and put it through a stencil because it's too dry, but it works this way. So I decided to put some random circles on here. Obviously, I do want to get a full circle somewhere because that is what is on my layout or on my inspiration piece in the upper right hand corner there. I am kind of going to ignore those dots that go all the way around it. I just didn't really feel like it needed it. It felt like it would be too busy if I added those dots for whatever reason. And I am going to fill my circles in. So they're not just going to be these coppery looking circles. So hopefully, I don't know, hopefully you agree it didn't need those extra circles on it. Anyway, so I am trying to marry up my two pages here so I get this circle at the bottom looking correctly. And then I am going to add another one just peeking in from the top up there. I maybe should have used a smaller circle for that one, but I end up using the same size as this bottom one. I just don't have it come in as far. I felt like the rings were too narrow, so I'm kind of thickening them up. I'm not really paying much attention to the how perfect the inner circles are, as long as the outer part of the circle stays looking circular, I'm happy. So there's the Mother of Pearl color that I have, and you can see there it's cracked and it's not in the best condition, but it does work. As I said, you just put a little bit of water in it and it allows you to paint it on. So I'm going to fill my circle with that Mother of Pearl because I don't want it to be the stark white color that my layout currently is. And then I took some of the orange blush and I mixed it with the Mother of Pearl on my acrylic block there, and I am bringing it in to kind of meet the copper and the Mother of Pearl, so it kind of goes between the two colors. It gives it more of a peachy look, and that's okay with me. I didn't want it super orange. The peach is just fine by me. So I'm liking how that's coming together. It's giving my background paper some interest and some depth of color rather than just having these big solid rings. And I like that a lot better. Okay, I'm just going to finish those off, and I still need to add that circle to the top of the paper, so I think I'm going to do that here in just a moment. I'm just touching up to make sure I've got good coverage of the Mother of Pearl. It's a little bit hard to see in person, like when you first put it on, to see if you missed any spots. So that's what I was just making sure I got good coverage. And that's where I showed you what colors I used. And so I'm going to go through the process again, but I'm only going to do this little tiny bit at the bottom here. So you're not going to see a ton of the Mother of Pearl. You're just going to get a hint of the brown or the coppery color, and then the peach. And then I went through my bin of papers, and I pulled out some scraps here. Since this is Baby Got Scraps, I wanted to make sure I used scraps on it. I really like the combination of that geometric kind of paper at the bottom there, that it's kind of like got a rust color to create that design. And then I pulled in this rust color paper, which I only had a little bit of it. So getting these 4 strips out of it, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to make sure when I tear it, I'm really careful not to tear it on an angle, because I'm not going to have enough if I do. So I was very conscientious about that. And I also didn't want the white side showing, so I had to make sure I tore each piece, not just like if I tore it in half, one half would show that little white edge and the other half wouldn't. So I had to tear it again to make sure that little white edge was gone or on the flip side so that it could get tucked under these papers. I am backing everything again with some Black Soot Distress ink. Seems to be my go-to these days. I really like how it just kind of finishes everything off and makes it pop, especially since there's a lot of white on this other paper. This paper is from Illustrated Faith, and it's an old paper, so I don't even know what the collection is or anything like that, so can't help you with that if that's something you're interested in. But I am really liking the way that it looks with the torn edge on it and that extra pop of rust or copper kind of a look. So that is kind of where my inspiration stops. Well, actually, that's not true. I am going to orientate my photos similarly on the right-hand page as the inspiration sketch suggests. I'm only going to do it in reverse. So it'll be similar, but reverse. And then my photos on the left-hand page are just going to be 2 side-by-side portrait photos. So what I am documenting today is, it's called Favorite Foods Day, and it is an event we did in 4-H where the kids would come up with a dessert that they wanted to present, but they had to also they had to put together a meal, like a menu for an entire meal, and it would be like multiple courses. And then they had to have a table setting with all of the proper silverware. So if you had a salad on your menu, you had to have a salad fork. If you had, iced tea on your menu, you needed an iced teaspoon and all of that kind of stuff. And so you really got to know a lot of etiquette and that kind of thing through this. They did not have to prepare the entire meal, but they had to prepare the dessert. And in this case, my son chose to do cheesecake. And so in the upper right-hand photo there, you can see a large cheesecake. And what they did is they put the cheesecake on the plate. You can see his place setting there. And the judges would come over and talk to him and ask him questions about his menu and different steps in the process of making the meal, because he had to also actually know the steps to make the meal, even though he didn't have to present the entire meal. They would talk to him about that kind of stuff. And then they were judged against a rubric system. It's a Danish system. So they could, they're not compared to other kids. They are just compared against what the standard is. Like, did they know their recipe? Did they know, how hot the inside of a steak should be, or, chicken should be to be well done, or to be cooked properly, or whatever else. Anyway, it's that kind of stuff. Basically, he got a gold on this, and which is the highest you can get. And then so that's the left-hand page. The right-hand page, they always put the rest of the desserts on the table, so the judges can taste the one that is on the plate in the place setting that they are talking to the kids about. The rest of it is on a table, and they do what's called a People's Choice Award, and everybody gets to taste everything, and then they can drop a vote in the voting box and choose what they liked best. And my son won the People's Choice Award for his cheesecake. And it is a New York style cheesecake. It's so good. Anyway, he still makes it for Christmas and Thanksgiving periodically. It's delicious. Anyway, so that's a long story short. While I was doing that, I just went through a bunch of 3x4 cards. I don't have a huge stack. I have got probably a stack that is maybe 6 inches tall of 3x4 cards, which is not really a lot by the standards of most scrapbookers. I know a lot of people don't have any, but I've had these for years. They just sit here, and I go through them periodically and use them for journaling spots like I am doing here. So you saw me audition a few, and then I chose this one that you can see on the left hand side, backed it with some black paper. I'm going to back all my photos with black paper to give it a nice pop. I am also backing the entire layout with black paper. So I know that maybe that's a cheat because it's not a scrap, but I feel like it's okay. So it is what it is, you guys. And then on my silhouette machine, I cut the word cake in big bold letters because I want to use that acrylic piece that says say cheese with a camera. And so it's kind of a play on words where it says say cheesecake. And I really liked that. So my goal is to use that, but I am going to alter the color. I'm going to turn it black to match everything else and to make it pop and be a little bit more bold than it currently is as a white piece of acrylic. So that Say Cheese is from Bramble Fox. So I'm going to go ahead and pop everything back down where it should be. And hopefully you can see my orientation of my photos on the right hand side are not exactly like the inspiration piece because my sizes are different, but it's a similar orientation where I've got two that are stacked and one that is not. And then I have this awesome acrylic from MK, and it has a yum scale. And I think that's really fun. It's got a bar of 5 stars, so you can give up to 5 stars. And in this case, I am giving it 5 stars because his cheesecake is amazing. And he, like I said, he won an award for his cheesecake. And he also got a gold for his presentation. And I thought that was really cool. And so I am going to also alter the acrylic pieces that say yum scale and also the white outline of the stars. The awesome thing about this acrylic is that you get 5 stars. You can put however many you want in there. You also get a half a star, in case you didn't know. So if you want to give it 3.5 stars, you can. If you want to give it just a half a star, you can. But like I said, I'm giving it a full 5 stars because he did so well in this presentation. And the woman that is giving him his award is actually, she actually had a cake shop here locally. And before we knew her through 4-H, she was actually the person who made my wedding cake. So that was kind of like a really fun fact. We met her and her husband at a 4-H event. It was a like a weekend retreat type deal, and they had a conference basically for adults, for adult leaders. And we were at the same table, and I was like, we know each other from somewhere. Where do we know each other from? And then we realized she was the one who made our amazing banana cake for our wedding. And then my son took cake decorating lessons from her through 4-H and some baking lessons, I believe, through 4-H. And she was also our camp chef at 4-H, or the camp cook, and organized all of that. So she's super heavily involved in 4-H, and she's an amazing woman. Super talented and just wonderful to work with. So anyway, my son really loved her, and we just had a great time with her and her family. So anyway, I have pulled out some black, alcohol ink. I was like, what the heck's that stuff called? It is called alcohol ink. And I am putting it on these words or letters for the yum scale and all of the acrylic pieces that I have out here. And it's working okay. It's not having a problem. But then I thought, you know what? I have these mixatives that are metallic. I wonder if I put one of those in there, what it would do, because I've got all of that metallic in the background. And so I was like, I'm going to try it. So I did it and it doesn't show up a whole lot. And I think that is because the surface is so small that it's getting put on. It's not like I am using a piece of Yupo paper, which is made for alcohol ink, and then I'm adding the mixative on the paper and you can see the gold swirls and stuff like that. But what it is doing is it's kind of giving it a textured look when it dries, probably because of the metallic elements that are in there. And it's kind of cool. So I went ahead and left it. And the few pieces that I did ahead of time that did not have the mixative, I went actually over them again and redid them. So there is a little bit of a texture to it. It almost looks like there's maybe like the Nuvo drops that are textured, like the stone drops or something like that on there, but it's not. It's all alcohol ink. So I really like how this looks. And then I ran out of Zotz Bling, and I had just ordered a roll of Glue Dots Mini. Or maybe I'm saying that backwards. Maybe they're Glue Dots Bling. No, I'm sure it's the other way. Mini Glue Dots. And so I'm using those to adhere all of this down. I am going to use some liquid glue on that scale of stars because they are so small. Like the outline is so small. There's no way to put any of the glue dots on it. And then I just put a little bit of liquid glue inside of each one of those stars, and I shoved the stars in so that it would actually hold it. And I really like the way that looks. And those stars have a faux glitter effect on them, so they look like they're gold stars. So just adding my words here for Yum Scale, making sure I get them kind of centered. I did end up with them a little bit too far right, but I don't think it's super noticeable. I did kind of have to adjust a couple of the letters so that they're not as spread out. But I don't think it's super noticeable, and if I'm okay with it, it's okay because it goes in my album. Isn't that amazing? So here's where I'm just adjusting them over just a tiny bit and finishing it off. And then I will add a little bit of embellishment here at the top of the one photo where it's got a little bit of open space. And then on the table in front of his place setting, I'm going to add another little embellishment. And then I pulled out these black acrylic stars. These are also from MK's shop. And the cool thing about these black stars are one side is matte and then on the other side they are glossy. And I'm using the matte side up, which matches my alcohol inked acrylic much better. And I'm not going to end up using any of the white ones. I considered it, but I don't end up using them. And I'm kind of just going with a diagonal across my double page. And I'm keeping it super simple, you guys. I'm not adding a ton more than this. I think I could have added more, but there's already a lot going on, and I felt like it didn't really need much more. It might look a little sparse to you, but to me it's okay. There is a lot of open space at the bottom of the layout and the top, but I don't know. I didn't want to cover up every single thing, and I didn't feel like it needed a whole lot more. So I'm just going to go with it. And letting the acrylic kind of do the work for me. And just adding a few little labels here and there just to kind of finish it off. And that is it, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this layout, and I thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to check out everyone else who is playing along with Stretch to Sketch. The list is down below for you if you are interested in seeing more takes on this same sketch. Go and check them out. They've got the option to go small or to go big, and I'm curious to see what everyone else has to offer. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon with another video. Don't forget you can go and check out MK's store if you're interested in any of that product. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.